Have you ever seen a rose open up? Like in slow motion? That's what you're gonna see. That's MyAria for me. My name is Chastity Polk. I'm the site coordinator here at Albert Hill.
My name is MyAria. I am in 8th grade at Albert Hill Middle School.
How me and MyAria met? Well, she was actually walking in the hall one day and she had just had an argument with one of the security staff.
I used to get irritated pretty fast. I walked out of class to get away from the noise. It was too much.
So I started asking around about her and I found out that she was one of our students that she kind of liked to fight. She did not respect the adults in the building. And I think word got to her because I started noticing that she was coming to my door. Over time, I was like, come on in, come on. And she would, but she wouldn't say anything. She'd come in, look at me, and leave. I'm like, okay, I can work with this.
I didn't have nothing to say to her until I found a way to make a conversation. Tell her what was going on and who was messing with me.
She started to open up over the years. She began to tell me about herself, which I had got a background a little bit from her last year from her mom. Mom basically let us know that, the reason why MyAria acts like this is because she's still grieving. She lost her brother to a suicide.
Everyone used to pick on him and talk about it, call him names and everything. It was oh, he's supposed to be here, supposed to grow up together, graduate together.
She's hurting and she's looking for somebody to attach to, somebody who can actually see her. And I wanted to be that person. So then I fast forward to this year. Now, she's my shadow.
Yeah, she's the awesome person. I feel like me and Miss Polk can relate on a different level than other students.
I was a troubled youth, so I feel like me and her are kind of kin spirits. And I just want her to know that she's super special. I created this group called Miss Polk's Polka Dots. I've actually been doing it for 5 years here. It is a social emotional group for girls.
It's an open space for you to talk about anything you want to talk about.
A lot of middle school is drama, the negatives. I try to make sure they're talking about something positive and reroute their brain a little bit. MyAria has become a leader in that group.
It showed you how you can change and move forward. You have talent, even if you hide it, even if people tell you you don't, keep going. I just started getting into dance because my oldest sister, she taught me how to dance and I just loved it ever since. Get your mind off of everything once you hear the music.
She's so confident, smiling, laughing, guiding. That's MyAria dancing. That's MyAria when she's with her peers, her really close peers. She used to walk around with her fist balled up. No, she walks around with a smile now. She's not gonna tell you, but she's gonna smile. Word gets around about communities and schools. When there's an organization that's dedicated to building a relationship with a child just so that they can succeed in life, that rings bells. She went from being the one that wanted to fight to the one that's gonna tell me what she's gonna do to avoid fighting. She has a business plan. She wants to open shops. Just love her, honestly.
I love doing hair. I want to create a shop where everyone's welcome, no matter your hair texture, and will be the greatest thing.
My name is Marquis Vons. I'm with Communities and Schools at Highland Springs High School.
I'm Savion Sparks, a junior at Highland Springs High School.
So I met Savion when I was actually doing a tardy sweep. And I kindly went in between Savion. I said, hey, it's time to go to class. Savion looked at me with the attitude, and I looked at him like, you know. Then Savion tried out for volleyball.
I was like, I gotta join. And I was like, oh man, this a dude. And this a dude.
He tried out, he made the team, very athletic, very talented. And from there, our relationship kind of just sprouted.
Recently, in the past couple of years, a lot of my family has been dying, which obviously that'll put anyone in a very bad place, you know. And I guess doing bad things or delinquent things was a way to cope. We were at Walmart telling the hour like, well, we don't really have all the money we could have. We might as well get a few things we need. Loss prevention officers came up to me and they were like, yeah, I'm gonna need you to come with us. So I had to call my mom. I could hear through the phone how much she was hurting.
She reached out to me initially as his coach. I said, well, you know, I'm actually a site coordinator with communities and schools. And I feel like Savion potentially could benefit from being case managed. And she was like, yes, sign me up, sign me up. From that moment, the consent was submitted. It was like game time. And I want to show people the Savion that I see on the court, off the court, and in the classroom. I want them to see that you were a teenager who just made an impulsive decision to fit in. I mean, he stole toothpaste.
What really dawned on me was what I do has consequences on my peers. Because my friend Jay, he didn't take anything. But because of us, I had to see him in handcuffs. When I seen that, it really told me I had to change my ways.
So my goal for Savion was to get him involved as in much stuff as possible, which he has exceeded the expectations. It's just a bunch of stuff that CIS offers. He's involved in our Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy, which CIS helped sponsor to bring to Highland Springs. He's a member of the tennis team, co-captain of the volleyball team, and he's just been hitting the ground running.
Trying different things, I was trying new things. So I started making my own pants or cropping my own shirts. I just kept thinking I could really express myself and mold myself into who I want to be with this.
The mentorship aspect goes beyond the parameters of my day-to-day as a site coordinator because I am involved in his life as a coach as well. So it can go from as simple as making sure he's in all his classes, making sure his grades are not falling below a C, and a specific class.
Love it.
Just trying to provide him those opportunities to succeed at all levels. And all this stuff, we're able to put on paper and documentation. I'm able to authorize that so that way when we go back to the court, the judge is able to see Savion for who I see him as. An intelligent, bright, resilient young man.
If I never met Coach Vons, I never would be in this position in the first place. Him setting me on the straight and narrow. It's always good to have a mentor in your life, you know, and Coach Vons just so happens to be the one for me.
Savion is just like truly a walking testimony. He's asking questions. He has a strong work ethic and his ability to just listen. That's something that I look for.
I'm a junior now, ready to be a senior in a couple months. So the things I do now have to build towards my future. I feel like this is where I was supposed to be. Like this is what was meant for me. Boom, 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 boom.
That's simple.
My name is Armani Johnson. I'm the site coordinator here with Communities and Schools at Henry Marsh Elementary School.
My name is Chimere and I'll go to Henry on March the 3rd. We first met, I think I was in the class. I might have just been doodling on one of my drawings or something. The next thing I know, my teacher called my name and I was like, yes. And then Ms. Johnson was standing right there at the door and she told me to go with Ms. Johnson. So I go with Ms. Johnson and then she take me to her office.
Our school social worker and I were doing a attendance group, and as a preventative measure, since Chimere historically had attendance challenges, she was referred for that group. From there, she started coming to my office a lot more every day, and we got to grow together and learned a lot about each other. And she started confiding about some challenges that were happening at home with her grandparents.
My living situation, it was like good, but at the same time bad. I would grab my book bag, take it upstairs, pull out my drawing stuff, and then just start drawing.
Do you feel like that was an outlet for you?
Yes, I love drawing.
She learned it from her granddad, so her granddad taught her how to draw. And it hasn't been clear on exactly how she ended up with her grandparents, but when we met, she really highlighted how much her grandparents mean to her. So going into the summer, unbeknownst to her, her whole life was going to change. Her mom unfortunately passed away. And then as we returned back to school, she was excited to be back, but she shared that her grandparents had split at that point. So you can imagine being with your grandparents your entire life, that's your entire lifeline, all that you know, and they split apart. From there, her grandfather shortly after moved in with his new partner, and that transition was exceptionally hard for her. So she's going through the grief of her mother, she's going through the grief of her grandparents splitting, and then she's going through the grief of meeting this new person and not being sure of what her living situation was going to be like. As we continued to develop a relationship and she started to share her story with me, I could really see something special in her. Chimere has been through a lot of different things, but she also uses her positivity to still be a light around other people.
I started opening up more because she was nice. She helped me, and she always listened to me, which made me improve my attendance way more. And then I started going to school more and more and more.
And she would pull herself out of class when she wasn't supposed to be to come see me too.
Don't say that.
It's okay. As she was coming out with things, I just wanted to make sure that she was wrapped around with support, because it's a huge part of my job, supporting the children holistically. She really wanted an outlet, and she talked a lot about just feeling isolated at home and just wanting something different. And so one of the great partners that we have is Robinson Theater, so I connected her there, and she goes there Tuesdays and Thursdays for cooking and ballet. We started a Big Buddy, Little Buddy program where 5th graders are paired with 1st graders. And so every morning she goes and checks in with her little buddy, and then bi-weekly we do a little lunch bunch where they play games and have conversation starters. I just create space for her to make sure that she feels supported as much as possible. She's blossomed so much. She's just very bubbly. I'm just so
loud.
And loud, a lot louder than you used to be. Chimere's granddad, Mr. Rainey, says something very simple yet profound, and he says, don't be afraid to be great. And whenever I reflect on that and think about Chimere and her life, every time she shows up and gives the world her gift, and that's the love that she brings here every single day. And so what I see for her future is I hope that she continues to really see the greatness within herself, and she's not afraid to be great, and that as she transitions to middle school, she's going to be supported, and that we're going to make sure that she has what she needs.